If you have a 401k, an individual retirement account, or any money invested in mutual funds in the United States, you need to pay very close attention to a major piece of legislation that just moved through Washington this week. While most of the country is completely distracted by the summer news cycle, the political noise, and the economy, the government is quietly changing the fundamental rules about who actually controls your retirement money when you try to withdraw it. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why your bank, your mutual fund manager, or your investment firm now has the legal authority to completely freeze your outgoing financial transfers for weeks at a time. Do not skip a single second of this update because millions of seniors are unknowingly putting their life savings at risk of being frozen. And if you do not understand these new rules, you could find yourself locked out of your own retirement accounts exactly when you need that money the most. Let us start with the breaking news out of Washington that has completely flown under the radar of the mainstream media. Just days ago, in late June of 2026, the United States House of Representatives passed a major bipartisan bill known as the Financial Exploitation Prevention Act, legally designated as House Resolution 2478. On the surface, this piece of legislation sounds like a wonderful, necessary layer of protection for older Americans. The bill sailed through the House with an overwhelming vote of 414 to 2, which is a rare moment of absolute agreement in modern politics. The stated goal of this law is to stop the massive wave of financial abuse that costs seniors an estimated $2.9 billion every single year. According to the data presented to Congress, 1 out of every 5 senior investors will fall victim to financial fraud and exploitation at some point in their retirement. To combat this epidemic, the government has decided to give financial institutions unprecedented power to step in and stop transactions before the money disappears. However, the way this law actually works in practice is causing a tremendous amount of concern for independent retirees who need quick, reliable access to their own money. Under this new legislation, mutual funds, transfer agents, and major investment companies are being granted the legal authority to temporarily delay or completely halt the redemption of your securities. Specifically, the bill allows a financial institution to freeze a transaction for up to 15 business days if they have a reasonable belief that the transaction involves the financial exploitation of an individual who is 65 years of age or older, or an adult with certain cognitive impairments. If the bank or the investment firm decides they need more time to investigate, they can unilaterally extend that freeze for an additional 10 days. When you factor in weekends and holidays, we are talking about your own money being locked down and held completely out of your reach for potentially over a month. The government is essentially turning your investment broker, your financial advisor, and their automated security algorithms into financial police officers. The legislation creates a legal safe harbor for these companies, meaning that if they freeze your account because they suspect fraud, you cannot sue them for denying you access to your money. This completely removes any hesitation a financial firm might have had about blocking a transaction. If the customer service representative on the phone or the artificial intelligence monitoring your account activity believes that you are being coerced, scammed, or financially exploited, they will stop your money from leaving the account. While this will undoubtedly save thousands of vulnerable people from losing their life savings to professional criminals, it also means that you, as a sound-minded adult, no longer have absolute, unconditional access to your own funds on demand. Consider the terrifying reality of what this means for a law-abiding retiree experiencing a genuine life emergency. Imagine you need to request an immediate withdrawal of $15,000 from your retirement account to pay for a sudden medical emergency, a catastrophic home repair like a collapsed roof, or to help a grandchild pay for an unexpected college expense. Under the old rules, it was your money, and the bank had to execute the trade and send you the funds. Under the new rules of 2026, that sudden, unusually large request could automatically trigger the firm's fraud detection system. The financial institution now has the legal right and the congressional encouragement to freeze that transaction. Instead of receiving your money in 2 days, your account goes into a holding pattern. You may be forced to jump through extensive bureaucratic hoops, provide additional layers of photo identification, submit written explanations for the withdrawal, and perhaps even prove to a total stranger over the phone that you are of sound mind and not acting under the duress of a scammer. This delay could last for weeks, leaving you completely without the liquid cash you desperately need to solve your emergency. This massive shift in banking power is a direct response to how sophisticated and aggressive financial predators have become. The government realized that law enforcement is simply too slow to recover funds once they have been wired out of a legitimate account and converted into cryptocurrency, or transferred to an offshore, untraceable digital wallet. The only way to stop the bleeding of senior wealth was to create a mandatory circuit breaker within the financial system itself. By putting the responsibility on the mutual funds and the transfer agents, the government is hoping to catch the fraud in the narrow window between the moment you push the transfer button and the moment the money actually leaves the country. It is a drastic measure for a drastic problem, but the collateral damage will undoubtedly be seniors who are legitimately trying to access their own money being treated like suspects by their own financial institutions. If you are planning any major financial moves or significant withdrawals this year, you must completely change how you interact with your brokerage firm. You can no longer log into a portal and expect a massive transfer to go through unquestioned. You must proactively contact your broker beforehand. You need to get on the phone with a registered representative at your investment company, explain exactly what the money is for, and ensure your account is completely verified to avoid triggering these new institutional roadblocks. You should ask them directly what their specific internal policies are regarding the Financial Exploitation Prevention Act and what documentation they require to clear a large withdrawal. If you have a designated trusted contact listed on your investment accounts, you need to verify that their phone number and email address are completely up to date, because the financial institution will likely call them to verify your state of mind before releasing your funds. The era of frictionless banking for seniors is officially over. As this bill moves to the Senate and prepares to become the law of the land, the friction between your request for your money and the actual delivery of your funds is going to increase dramatically. The banks are no longer just holding your money. They are actively guarding it, sometimes even from you. This is the new reality of protecting wealth in 2026. And if you are not prepared for these delays, a simple financial transaction could turn into a month-long bureaucratic nightmare. So why is the government suddenly taking such extreme measures to lock down your retirement accounts and mutual funds in 2026? The answer lies in a terrifying new financial threat that the Internal Revenue Service recently highlighted at the very top of their annual Dirty Dozen consumer alert list. Scammers have completely abandoned the old methods of sending poorly spelled emails, mailing fake lottery letters, or pretending to be foreign officials asking for help. Today, the single most dangerous threat to your financial security, your retirement, and your peace of mind is artificial intelligence voice cloning technology. This technology has advanced so rapidly and become so accessible over the last few months that criminal syndicates can now execute devastating, highly targeted attacks with absolute precision. To understand how dangerous this is, you have to realize that criminals no longer need complex computer programming or hours of recorded audio to steal your identity. Today, an artificial intelligence algorithm only needs a simple 3-second audio clip of your voice, or the voice of one of your loved ones, to create a flawless, completely realistic digital replica. The software can perfectly mimic the exact pitch, the unique tone, the vocal inflections, and even the natural breathing patterns of any human being on Earth. These criminal networks pull these tiny audio clips from public social media videos, short clips uploaded online, greeting messages on your phone voicemail, or simply by calling your cell phone from an unknown number and recording your voice when you answer and say hello. Once they have that tiny sample, they can type any script they want into their software, and the computer will speak those words using your exact voice. Here is exactly how this psychological nightmare unfolds for unsuspecting families across the United States every single day. Your phone will ring on a quiet afternoon, and you will look down at the screen. Because scammers can now easily spoof cellular networks, the caller ID will actually display the real name and phone number of your son, your daughter, or your grandchild. When you press the button to answer the call, you will not hear a robotic computer or a stranger with a distant accent. Instead, you will hear the exact voice of your own flesh and blood in a state of absolute breathless panic. The artificial intelligence-generated voice will scream out your name crying and tell you a horrifying story. They will claim they have just been involved in a terrible car accident, or that they are being held in a foreign jail, or that they have been wrongly arrested, and they desperately need you to wire them thousands of dollars immediately to post bail or clear the situation before things get worse. The raw emotion in the voice is so incredibly real. The crying sounds so authentic, and the caller ID looks so completely legitimate that your rational brain completely shuts down. Your natural parental and grandparental instincts of love and protection completely take over your body. You do not stop to think about algorithms or software. You immediately log into your brokerage portal or call your bank on the phone to authorize a massive, rapid withdrawal to save your family member from a crisis. This is precisely the exact scenario that the newly passed Financial Exploitation Prevention Act is trying to stop by freezing the transfer at the institutional level. The government realized that human beings cannot visually or audibly distinguish between a real human voice and an artificial intelligence clone during a high-stress emergency call. By the time you realize your grandchild is actually sitting safely in their school classroom, your retirement money has already left the country. The Internal Revenue Service is also warning that these highly advanced artificial intelligence cloning tools are being used by criminals to impersonate tax officials and federal law enforcement. Seniors are receiving highly realistic phone calls from individuals who sound exactly like official IRS agents, completely utilizing real badge numbers and referencing actual public records about your property or your past employment. The clone voice will aggressively inform you that the IRS has discovered a massive, fraudulent discrepancy on your past tax filings and that a warrant has been issued for your immediate arrest. They will tell you that the only way to avoid federal prison or a lien on your home is to immediately liquidate a portion of your mutual funds and send the money to a designated federal holding account. Remember this absolute truth about the government. The Internal Revenue Service will always contact you through official physical mail delivered by the United States Postal Service long before they ever call you. They will never demand immediate payment over the phone using aggressive threats, and they will never ask you to wire funds or purchase prepaid debit cards to settle a tax balance. To protect your family from falling victim to this terrifying new reality, you must implement a formal family safe word strategy immediately. Sit down this weekend with your children, your grandchildren, and anyone else in your inner circle and agree on a specific, completely random word or phrase that only your family knows. It should not be something easily found on public records, like a birthday or a middle name. It should be a completely random word, like a specific favorite food, an old inside joke, or a distinct location from a past family vacation. If you ever receive a frantic, high-pressure phone call from a family member begging for money, you must force yourself to remain calm. Before you panic and before you drive to the bank, look into the phone and demand they tell you the family safe word. If the voice on the other end hesitates, makes an excuse, or cannot provide the exact word, hang up the phone immediately. Do not trust the caller ID, and do not trust the voice on the line, no matter how much it sounds like your grandchild. The financial reality of 2026 requires a completely new level of personal vigilance. Between the government empowering mutual funds to freeze your legitimate withdrawals for weeks and the rapid, unstoppable rise of artificial intelligence voice cloning scams, your wealth is constantly surrounded by new institutional roadblocks and highly sophisticated external threats. You can no longer afford to navigate your finances using the old rules of trust and simplicity. You must stay educated, communicate openly with your family about these digital dangers, and never authorize a financial transfer based on a panicked phone call or an unexpected text alert. By implementing a family-safe word and staying ahead of the shifting laws in Washington, you can keep your hard-earned retirement safe from both the criminals and the bureaucratic system. If you found this urgent, trending update valuable and eye-opening, please take a brief second to hit the like button right now. It is completely free to do, and it greatly helps the algorithm share this critical warning with millions of other older Americans who are currently vulnerable to these new artificial intelligence tactics. If you want to stay protected and ahead of the curve, please subscribe to the channel and turn on all of your notifications so you never miss an essential financial report or breaking law update. Share this video immediately with your friends, your neighbors, and your family members so they can establish their own defenses today. Stay safe, guard your personal information, protect your voice, and I will see you in the very next official report.